Today on Teuty's track analysis, we have the track of the day for January 27th, Persian Trail by NotEnoughSpeed. Persian Trail is a dirt track that also features various water sections that the player can attempt to mostly avoid. Having just a single finish and no other noteworthy obstacles other than the water, the track seems very easy to complete for beginners, but higher skilled players will also have the challenge of gear management in certain sections, as well as trying to drive the perfect lines through and around the water. I completed the track with a time of 46.848, which is roughly 7/10 behind the author medal time of 46.115. Other than one jump, which felt very inconsistent on how smooth you take off from and land, I thought the track was very good. I give Persian Trail a triple plus rating. For the analysis and comparison today, we're using the current world record Ghost, which was driven by Stuffs, and they had a 45.452. This puts them 1.396 seconds ahead of my PB. Also, I'll be doing something a little bit different today as well. Usually I have one world record Ghost on and I adjust it to keep pace with my Ghost. That'll still happen, but I will also keep on the same Ghost from start to finish without moving it, so we can see exactly how far it is ahead at all times. At the start, immediately we have some gear management. We are switching from first to second gear before hitting this water part, and you want to make sure you straighten out your wheels while this happens. Once you get into the water, you can steer a small amount, but on the exit, I turn very hard to the right, 100% steering to the right here in fact, and that'll cause me to slide a little bit on the exit and lose a little bit of pace compared to the world record. After this, we'll have another situation in which we are changing gears. So around this part, you should be changing in from third to fourth gear. So again, you want to remain pretty straight here while that happens. You want to keep an inside line for this next turn though, and into the water you also want to be a little bit in the water as well. Here I am maybe a little bit high to the right, and it'll cause me to slide out on the exit a tiny bit and cost me a little bit of extra speed. For the upcoming turn up the hill, I did take it a little too far inside and I'll have to turn very hard to keep a decent line going into the next section, so that'll cost me a little bit more pace as well. Once this turn is over, however, we end up on a similar line and into the next section. Again, similar line through that turn. This section right here, this slalom through the water and dirt, can be a little bit tricky, mostly due to gearing issues. The current location of my personal Ghost is where the world record got their gear up from 4th to 5th, and you see it's a pretty good place to get it at, as it's a fairly straight path and you don't have to really turn right here. Moving forward a little bit, however, you can see this is where I get my gear up mid-turn, and just not a great spot for it. Really, this section was pretty challenging to get a good gear timing on. The world record and I take similar lines through here as well. However, the world record only entered this section with 2 extra speed than I had, and at the end of this section, because of that gear up, they will have an extra 17 speed. So this was a pretty big loss in this run. After this section, however, we have a jump, which I felt was very inconsistent on how you took off and landed. I generally had the most luck taking it very far to the left here. However, I wish on this attempt I pointed my car a little bit towards the left, because I will just have to adjust way too much upon landing. As you can see though, when we land here, I'm landing decently flat while the world record is pretty nose down. I'm very surprised that their car did not gear down or lose much speed at all here. Very lucky, I feel, for them there. And like I said earlier, I wanted my car to point more towards the left because the location where I landed, I'm going to have to turn very hard back to the left here in order to make a good inside line around this upcoming right turn. After that turn, we'll keep decent pace with the world record. However, I am in a wider line and it'll cost me on the exit from this jump here, as I am way too high. I'll get way too much air time, and that'll cost me 19 speed going into the next checkpoint. So this higher line is not ideal, but I will tell you that it is a safer option than being too low here, because if you are too low, you will crash into the wall ahead of the checkpoint. For this next turn, you want to be wide and take an inside line through this entire long turn, and then just drive straight to the finish. So we got an excellent track today from NotEnoughSpeed. Their track gets the first triple plus rating I've given out in this series, and not to take anything away from it, but I feel like I'm going to start being a little bit more generous on the triple plus ratings. Generally, I'm pretty harsh on a track if it has like one or two little things that I don't like about it, and I feel like that's really not fair to the track and the track creators. It's probably near impossible to create a perfect track with no flaws, or at least otherwise sections that I just don't care for or have a bias to like or not like either. So again, going forward, expect a little more triple plus ratings. However, I will still give my honest opinion on tracks and their features, and if I still dislike a track, I'm still going to give it an honest rating. That's it for today though. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like the video and subscribe. Check the description for links to my Twitch and Discord if you're interested in joining or following those locations. And be sure to check out all the other track analysis videos already out on the channel. But that's it for today and for the week. I will see you guys on Monday for the next track analysis.